I invite you all to fight corruption in all its ramifications.
On the news tonight, federal government raises the bar of fight against corruption, unveils EFCC operational guideline. Supreme Court delivers powerful judgment on INEC's deregistration of political parties.
About 22 local government areas in Borno State, out of the 27 local government areas, are under the control of the insurgents. So you can imagine the cumbersome nature of what we had before.
Few hours to convention, All Progressives Congress APC makes self-appraisal. Hello and a warm welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jummai Yusuf. We're live in Abuja. Michael Olaile is in our Lagos studio and Sadia Umadiki will be joining us from Sokoto. You're welcome. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live or on YouTube channel NTA News Online. You can also visit our Twitter handle at NTA News Now, Facebook page NTA Network News, and Instagram NTA Network for updates. Standard operating procedures, policies and manuals for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission aimed at deepening the fight against corruption in Nigeria have been unveiled. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, promised necessary support to all initiatives being implemented towards actualizing his administration's vision of a corrupt-free Nigeria. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has details.
It was a historic and remarkable event as 26 standard operating procedures and 25 policies and manuals for departments, units and staff of the EFCC were presented to the public. They are the first ever collection of policy documents developed in the 18-year history of the Commission aimed at defining institutional rules and operational guidelines with a view to instituting uniformity in standards as well as improving efficiency in its operations.
We are looking forward for an EFCC where, as the executive chairman, if I issue the directive to a junior officer, he will look me in the face and say, "Sir, I understand your instruction, but I cannot carry it out because it is contrary to our policies or standard operational procedure." Our promise today is that the EFCC will always get any criminal anywhere, anytime.
Expressing gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari for the confidence reposed in his abilities and competence, the EFCC chairman said in the last 1 year alone, the commission secured 2,220 convictions and recovered over 152 billion naira and $385 million.
I will lead an agency that will be the pride of our dear nation, Nigeria.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, the development of the EFCC standard operating procedures is a demonstration of commitment towards strengthening the fight against corruption as one of the cardinal objectives of his administration. The document, he said, formed the building blocks of transparency and accountability in public expenditure, as well as a confirmation of national efforts against graft.
I need not to underscore the importance of today's occasion, but let me remind you that the stakes are high, but national expectations are higher. Therefore, we must continue to strive and deal decisively with matters in accordance with the rule of law. I invite you all to fight corruption in all its ramifications and join us to entrench good governance values and integrity within all our systems. As I have often said, if we do not kill corruption, corruption will kill us as a nation.
And as period for 2023 electioneering campaigns and balloting draw near, the Nigerian leader insists that the EFCC must not get involved.
I must advise the leadership and operatives of the Commission to resist the temptation of being used to partisan politics or be dragged into personal disputes. Your job is to serve the nation in the efforts to entrench good governance.
The president said his administration will continually encourage the application of a rules-based system, integrity and impartiality in government business in line with its aspirations for a corrupt-free Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has described the unprecedented efforts by Nasarawa state government at providing the desired infrastructural facilities across the state as critical pathways towards achieving a prosperous economy. This was while receiving a high-powered delegation from the state led by Governor Abdullahi Saleh on a thank-you visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo takes it from here.
The delegation, comprising former governors of the state, members of the national and state assemblies, traditional rulers and other critical stakeholders, was in the State House to express formal appreciation to the president for his recent visit to the home of solid minerals, where various state and federal government projects were inaugurated.
Your visit to Nasarawa State has further endeared you to the people of this state, sir. This is based on our conviction that Nasarawa State is your second home and remains your political laboratory. Hence the imperative of our courtesy visit to demonstrate the profound gratitude and appreciation of our people.
The governor used the opportunity to reiterate his appeal to the federal government to, amongst others, take over the Lafia Airport, extend rail line from Abuja to Kefi and connect to the main national railway in Gudi Station, complete the Kwandere Abuja bypass and convert the Alhatu Arab Specialist Hospital to a teaching hospital.
It is also our hope, Your Excellency, and expectation that our request will be given smooth consideration as we renew the continued goodwill, overwhelming support, cooperation, and unalloyed loyalty of the good people of Nasarawa State to Your Excellency's dynamic administration.
Governor Sule informed the president that Nasarawa State remains relatively peaceful in view of his tremendous support in securing lives and property, especially with the setting up of several security outfits in the state. President Muhammadu Buhari thanked the delegation for the show of appreciation, describing his visit to the state as a fascinating eye-opener in view of the giant strides recorded by the Sule administration.
I assure you that I'm very impressed with what we have been able to do in 3 years of the first term. I thank you very much for your clear vision.
He charged the governor to remain focused in sustaining the upward trajectory in critical sectors of the state's economy for enhanced standard of living of the people as well as a prosperous future. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The authority of ECOWAS heads of state and government reaffirmed its decision not to acknowledge taking over government through any means other than a thorough democratic process. This was during an extraordinary summit of the regional body on the political situation in Mali and other parts of the sub-region. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo arrived at Accra, Ghana at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon Nigerian time, joins other leaders from West Africa to review progress made by Mali's military junta on the return of the country to democratic rule. The summit receives and considers an updated report from ECOWAS mediator in Mali, former President Goodluck Jonathan, who was in Bamako between March 18 to 20th to meet with the head of the junta.
Once again, a clear indication of your determination to assume the responsibilities for the security of ECOWAS.
The ECOWAS leaders at their last meeting in February reaffirmed their early decision that only democratically elected governments would be recognized and supported in West Africa, and had gone ahead in condemning the military takeover of governments in Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso, imposing sanctions on the military junta in those countries.
The whole point of democracy is that each person has a right to choose leadership. So a group of people cannot sit somewhere and wake up one morning and take over what should really be the right of every individual. So I think that outrage has been well expressed by the authority of heads of state and government and by the people of the ECOWAS regions, that we are in a democracy. We're not going to go back. This is the 21st century. We can't keep having adventurers and poopies doing what they please. It's no longer tenable. So that's where we're at.
The leaders are also creating opportunity for more dialogues, and quoting former President Olusegun Obasanjo, democracy must be celebrated and embraced, not only for its value, but as a means of delivering democratic dividends and enhancing everybody's quality of life. In Accra, Ghana, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
From the judiciary, we hear the Supreme Court has upheld the deregistration of 22 political parties carried out by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The parties were among the 74 scrapped in 2020 by INEC following their dismal performances in the previous elections. Delivering the judgment, Justice Ejimbe Oeko voided and set aside a judgment of the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, which had nullified the deregistration. He held that the Court of Appeal is on its own raised the issue of lack of fair hearing in favor of the 22 scrapped parties and arrived at a conclusion without hearing from other parties in the matter. The Apex Court held that the Court of Appeal took out the issue of fair hearing out of the contemplations of the notice of appeal filed by the political parties, but refused to do the needful in order to be fair to others in the matter. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has set aside the judgment of the Federal High Court of the Federal Capital Territory delivered on 16th December 2021, recognizing the May Nasara Sani-led faction as the authentic executive of the All Progressives Congress in Sokoto State. The three-man panel led by Justice Haruna Sammani in its verdict nullified the decision of the trial court on the order that the court lacks jurisdiction to deal with a matter that originated from Sokoto State. The appellate court faulted the judgment of the lower court, describing it as a product of forum shopping. The appellate court recognized the faction led by Issa Achida as the legitimate executive of the All Progressives Congress in Sokoto State. Now, as part of activities leading to the All Progressives Congress National Convention, the Subcommittee on Media and Publicity has reminded Nigerians of the achievements of the APC-led government during a media briefing at the National Secretariat of the APC. Chairman of the committee, Governor Abdullahi Sile, said the unity amongst APC stakeholders is non-negotiable. Saliu Gonara reports.
The briefing highlights the activities of the APC since 2015 and what they describe as the systematic efforts by the Governor Maimala Buni-led 13-member caretaker and extraordinary convention planning committee in navigating difficult political waters. The committee added that the three main agenda of the administration in tackling corruption, fighting insecurity, and improving the economy are successful.
The Empower program is one of them. The public works actually for the youth that created several jobs. The Anko Borrower scheme that we have done also that created some kind of self-sufficiency for food production in this country. The promise to create jobs through the information and communication technology and the creative industries was a huge success. The digital economy has created thousands of jobs. More jobs were generated through the value chain of the homegrown school feeding program.
The forthcoming national convention, they believe, is another platform for members to rekindle enthusiasm and build new progressive strategies. From the APC National Secretariat in Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
7 years, solid years of purposeful leadership and still succeeding on the path of meeting its campaign promises amidst tough times in the Economic and Security Councils. Well, That is the story of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. The party has remained unshaken through quality delivery of infrastructure and human capital development. Abubakar Akwanga reports that this came to the fore at the first ever pre-convention policy conference in Nigeria's history, organized by the APC.
Laying down brakes for 7 years under a severe economic pressure occasioned by 2 cycles of recession, COVID-19 and insecurity was indeed an Herculean task.
The security situation in the entire northeastern states, speaking as the chairman of the Northeast Governors Forum, has greatly improved. And this is not by fault. It is by design. Prior to the advent of this administration, particularly in Borno State, about 22 local government areas in Borno State, out of the 27 local government areas, are under the control of the insurgents. So you can imagine the cumbersome nature of what we had before.
The government economic diversification drive, inclusive administration, prudent management and equitable distribution of scarce resources across board has proved bookmakers wrong.
The Nigerian economy is truly diversified. Today, our GDP from the oil sector is 8%, which means 92% of the economy is the non-oil sector. So we don't speak to the fact that we have a diversified economy. Instead, what we have to do is actually deepen that diversification, expand and grow the individual sectors to do more, because the capacity is there.
If you look at what is going on, and I can sum it up this way, as at the last check, which was last month, we had over 1,101 contracts. That represented about 790 something projects in that ministry nationwide. So there is no state in Nigeria where we are not building a road or a house or a federal secretariat or a combination of the three. No state.
The 2014 evident research of Nigeria's economy on the verge of collapse seems to be dead on arrival, owing to the palliative measures put on ground by the APC administration.
To encourage us to believe in ourselves, which we are increasingly seeing, that is why Aliko can risk putting $17 billion to do a refinery. That's why he can risk putting $2.5 billion to do a fertilizer plant. Because, this vision, this stability of policy that APC has brought will give certainty to the contracts he has entered among many other investors.
We must own the narrative, have the manifesto on the one hand, and have the performance record of our government on the other hand, and sell it to Nigerians. Even when the media may not be our best friend, we need to ensure that we get them to recognize the significant developments that have happened under this government.
The panelists say what the APC is doing is like basically reconstructing Nigeria and frown on how its legacy projects with geopolitical spread have been grossly underreported. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
We'll take our first break. When we return, more reports. Don't go away. Thanks for rejoining us. Federal government strategies in protecting rail infrastructure is adopting community approach as the Nigerian Railway Corporation sensitizes some host communities along the Abuja-Kaduna rail corridor. Oyinaya Kalu Oka reports.
As federal government makes efforts to revive the railway sector in Nigeria, rail facilities have been targets of vandalism and attacks. To tackle this threat, federal government through the Nigerian Railway Corporation adopted an inclusive approach where host communities are carried along in protecting this infrastructure. Jiwa community in Abuja Municipal Area Council AMAC was the first port of call by the Nigerian Railway Corporation's delegation. With the rail tracks running through Jiwa community, it was imperative to give the host community a feeling of ownership, making them responsible for the protection of the rail infrastructure.
We keep re-strategizing. The crime is becoming more and more dynamic, and it requires dynamic decisions and dynamic changes, to meet up with the current trend.
We are going back to the drawing board to do
much more.
Sarkin Jua, Alhaji Idris Musa, commended federal government's efforts in reviving the rail line, promising the support of the community in protecting the project.
And it's a visit of cooperation, understanding between the host community and the railway. We have understand each other and we have advised where necessary.
We are fatherly support.
A letter of appreciation was presented to Sarkin Jua for his support. Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Weeks into petroleum scarcity across the country, Nigerians have continued to share their experiences on how the hardship is changing lifestyle and affecting livelihood. Abubakar Akwanga tells us more.
From Yola, Samuel Ashim reports that petrol stations have continued to register long queue of cars, a situation that now affects movement and socio-economic well-being of the people.
The place are lodged to my workplace. We used to pay 15 naira, but now they are collecting 170 naira.
Yesterday I was coming back from Mubi. Initially it used to be 1.8, but now it's 2.5. Prices of the things in the market, even food stuff, is hard to afford.
And from Benin, Agatha Egwari Oju reports that scarcity of the product still persists above the official pump price of 165 naira, while black marketers are making bricks business.
For you to get 10,000 naira value, you are sure of maybe spending up to like 13,000 naira to get equivalent of 10,000 naira here.
From this filling station, if you go to the Benin filling station, 220 naira. 200 naira per liter. For what?
The story is, however, different from Katsina, as correspondent Awal Hadiru reports that the product is now available and sold above the official pump price compared to weeks ago.
Now the petroleum is okay in Katsina so far. It's a bit better, and we are praying for those that have hand on it to continue assisting us to get the fuel.
The station of fuel here is not rather too hard. It's going gradually.
We are the regulators to maintain this level of sanity in the industry is to intensify our regulatory activities.
Some marketers attribute the gradual disappearance of long queue to measures put in place by the federal government to ensure availability of the product. Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, is urging the contractors working at the headquarters of Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission to expedite efforts towards completing the project before the end of the present administration. Lydia Samson reports that he gave the charge while on an on-the-spot assessment of the project in Abuja.
Says though he's happy with the quality of work, time is of the essence.
But we are quite happy with the quality of work. We are not surprised at all. Julius Berger is delivering world-class quality. But we are hoping that this project will be commissioned by Mr. President. We initiated it before the end of his tenure. So we are actually asking Julius Berger to fast-track the project.
The contracting firm and other stakeholders spoke on significance and magnitude of the project with the assurance that they will deliver on the promise.
I can guarantee the Honourable Minister that we put all efforts in place. Like, for example, we are working day and night shift, not only here, also in our yard, to maintain a permanent material supply to the site.
On our part, as the Commission, it's a project that has mutual obligations. And the contractor, the MD, is here. We have meeting our own obligation, that is a government obligation, to ensure the project is complete within schedule.
On our own part, we'll do whatever is necessary to ensure that the contract agreement and the terms are abided by as soon as practicable.
It should be recalled that the project, which began 1 year ago, is projected to be completed in 24 months. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Still talking infrastructure, what would happen when the Abuja Airport second runway comes on stream? You want to know? It's over to aviation correspondent Emmanuel Anyimiro, who has an insight into what experts feel about the second runway.
Just imagine when you were about to land and suddenly the pilots announced that there was an obstruction of the runway and would have to hover for a while since there was no alternative runway. How will you feel? So, how then does it feel if there's an alternative runway that will increase capacity for takeoff and landing Will that solve the problem of total closure? Abuja Airport's second runway is around the corner with its enormous benefits.
If you have an airport like Abuja where the nation capital is sited, then you should have a second runway for the purposes of diplomatic issue, for the purposes of political issues. You will have to understand that it is not all about economics.
Another factor that may affect the decision of a pilot during takeoff and landing is wind. Alternative runway will also provide new answers to that.
When the weather so demands, the controller will give the vector, that enables the incoming flight to head to the runway that is oriented in a direction that is safer based on the strength and the direction of the wind.
Was concentrated on expansion of the apron, the ramp, the Abuja airport there, work on some of the S36 car parks, the car park within the airport, and linkage between the local and international airport.
The last Federal Executive Council meeting has already approved 92 billion naira for the construction of Abuja Airport runway for economic development. Emmanuel Ayinibo, NTA News.
Now, following the approval of the 14.2 billion naira by the federal government to train 50,000 non-graduate NPower beneficiaries, 4 agencies are to be engaged for the task. This is part of efforts geared towards job creation for unemployed youths under the National Social Investment Program. Ruth Agwele reports.
At NPower has opened a lot of our eyes to see what we don't know. We have the opportunity to belong to the public sector, and by the special grace of God, I have my own adult education school.
Just like Shegun Aburi, thousands of beneficiaries of the NPower program are consistently being engaged under the different clusters. The spotlight is on the NBuild non-graduate beneficiaries, a cluster under the NPower program, as beneficiaries are set to be engaged to be trained by 4 government agencies on apprenticeship, with the approval of 14.2 billion naira by the Federal Executive Council for the training. The goal of ensuring social inclusion through job creation under the National Social Investment Programs is on a fast track.
These non-graduates of NPower are going to be trained for a 3 months in-center class training and 6-month apprenticeship. That is what will be given to these non-graduates, after which they will be given starter packs that they will go and start their own businesses. We are also going to approach the private sector for those who want to go along that line, and then to see if they can also be gainfully employed after having gone through these trainings.
50,000 non-graduates are to be trained from across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory in almost 350 local government areas. The NBuild training, which started in 2017 with every batch of NPower trainees, has consistently breached the social inclusion margin. In Abuja, Ruth Agwele, NTA News.
Still talking human development, Nisal Microfinance Bank, a subsidiary of the Central Bank of Nigeria, is appealing to beneficiaries of its various financial support to begin repayment to allow for further disbursement. Managing Director of the bank, Abubakar Abdullahi Kure, made the appeal at a ceremony marking 3 years of the bank in Abuja. Benny Adams has the details.
It is a celebration of the impact being made in the lives of about 1 million Nigerians. 525.67 billion naira was disbursed to the man and woman in the farm, the marketplace and factories, down to the household. At the end of the loan tenure, the bank says it is time to pay up to allow for 13 million new applications to be considered.
It's a revolving loan. If me say A doesn't pay, but B doesn't get,
The central bank introduced what they call global standing instruction. So once you activate it, irrespective of why you have your account balance, they will debit that account and refund us back our money for the payment at default. Also, we will put your name in CRMS. In that case, we cannot borrow from the bank industry.
While the call for transparency in the process is being re-echoed, there are also suggestions as to ways of consolidating on the gains being achieved.
If you know that if you save money, you can also take some loans outside the conventional financial intervention loans that the bank is currently giving. That is the next direction I believe the bank will go.
Reports from the Central Bank of Nigeria reveal that between 2020 and 2021, it disbursed an estimated 736.67 billion naira intervention fund to more than 3.8 million individuals, SMEs, and public projects. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
It's time to take a breather as we join Michael in Lagos with more reports. Hello, Michael. We seem to have lost the audio there from Lagos. We'll go on a break. When we return, more reports. Don't go away.
Thank you, Jumai. Ms. Chidinma Obulu, a Lagos socialite who distributed petrol as souvenir during her installation party, has been sentenced to 3 months imprisonment by the Chief Magistrate, Kehinde Ogundare, at a special offences mobile court sitting at Oshodi. Amaka O completes the reports.
The distribution of fuel by Ms. Chidinma had elicited public condemnation not only for danger of the inflammable commodity to lives of Nigerians, but also at a time the scarcity of the product is ravaging the country. The defendant, Ms. Chidinma Obulu, was therefore arraigned for offence of distributing the commodity as a souvenir during her installation party on 5th March 2022. At the hearing of the suit on 24th March, the defendant changed her plea of not guilty to guilty when the 3-count charges was read to her. The court ruled that the offences violated some sections of the criminal law of the Lagos State Environmental Management Protection Law of the state. She was sentenced to 3 months imprisonment with an option of a fine by the presiding magistrate. This includes 1 year imprisonment or a fine of 500,000 naira on the second count, and 1 year imprisonment of 500,000 naira for the third count. In Lagos, Amaka Owu, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army has continued in its efforts in addressing infrastructural deficits across its formations throughout the country. To this end, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, commissioned some projects in Lagos aimed at improving efficiency in service delivery. Lynn Neneke reports.
The project inaugurated include the Nigerian Army Finance Corps Soldiers Transit Accommodation, Nigerian Army Ordnance School Students Hostel, and 70 Command Supply and Transport Transit Officers Accommodation. Others are the newly built official residence of the RSM 81 Division, Nigerian Army Engineers and Signals, among others. The Chief of Army Staff, in his remark at the inauguration, stated that the projects are further evidence of the resolve of the Nigerian Army towards improving the well-being of its personnel.
The Nigerian Army shall continue in its strides of intervention projects in areas of barrack renovation and construction, procurement of new platforms and rehabilitation of our hospitals for effective medical care, upgrade of weapon system, equipping our training institutions, and review of training curricula to effectively deliver on the need to have a professional Nigerian Army ready to discharge its constitutional roles.
The Army Chief, while reiterating the commitment of the Nigerian Army to tackle various internal security challenges in the country, charged personnel to strive continuously to meet and even exceed the expectations of the country.
I want to implore you to continue to be diligent in the discharge of your constitutional duties in compliance with the aspirations of the President Commander-in-Chief. I want you all to know that unprofessional conduct of any sort will not be tolerated.
He added that protecting the citizenry and critical assets within their respective mandates demand total commitment. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
That is it from here. It's now back to Jumai for the continuation of the news.
Thank you, Michael. Political activities are increasing daily at all political parties. Timothy Yusuf reports that the opposition PDP is also having its share as aspirants pick up forms for different positions.
It began with a rousing welcome to the PDP National Secretariat by supporters of the Deputy Governor of Delta State, Kingsley Otuaro. PDP National Organizing Secretary Umar Bature thereafter presented the nomination and expression of interest forms to the aspirant in his aspiration to succeed his boss, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa. Kingsley Otuaro says he is set to consolidate on the achievements of the present administration in his state and very much on the same page with the state governor, whom he explained has been delivering on his promises to the people of Delta State.
This truly signals a very significant milestone in my preparedness to contest the gubernatorial election and winning same for our party. That's what it symbolizes for me, and I'm happy and thankful for the support that is overwhelming here. As part of the Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa-led government, you know I'm an integral part of it. So much of programs, policies, and reforms, of course, have been made. My focus is to ensuring that these reforms are integrated for optimal democratic dividend for our people. So it's going to be a swell time for Deltas, and I know Deltas can't wait to having us come on board as quickly as possible.
Kingsley Otuaro enjoined Deltans to keep faith with the PDP as power truly belongs to the
Sokoto is next, and Sadia will be our guide. Hello, Sadia. Sokoto.
The federal government has presented startup packs to 100 trainees in Sokoto State under the National Industrial Skills Development Program. This is part of efforts to facilitate government policy on job and wealth creation. Shehu Muhammadeti reports.
From the inception of the National Industrial Skills Development Program in Nigeria, it has equipped thousands of youths with various skills aimed at making them self-reliant and contributing to the economic growth and national development. This phase of the program is a closing ceremony of 100 youths in Sokoto that were trained in catering and events planning, plumbing, and pipe fitting.
They were infected with skills, knowledge, and the right attitude to carry out tasks related to their respective trade areas.
Presenting the startup pack to the trainees, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol, represented by the Director of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce, Sokoto, Sani Hamidu, commended federal government and the Industrial Training Fund for impacting positively on the lives of Nigerian youths. He urged the beneficiaries to make good use of the startup pack given to them. Director General Industrial Training Fund, Joseph Ari, representative, said as the leading human capacity development institution in Nigeria, ITF is committed to equipping Nigerians with life skills for employability and entrepreneurship to boost the economy and improve the standard of living of the citizens.
We have been able to impact tremendously on the lives of youths, women, the physically challenged in the country.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, represented by District Head of Kilgori, Dr. Muhammad Jabi Kilgori, cautioned the beneficiaries against selling the startup packs, enjoining them to use the packs to become useful members of the society. Some of the beneficiaries thanked the federal government and assured of making good use of the items given to them. The beneficiaries were drawn from the 23 local government areas of Sokoto State. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammadeti, NTA News.
Wife of Sokoto State Governor Maria Aminu Waziri Tambol has stressed the need for governments and development partners to continue to invest towards ending tuberculosis. She was speaking at an event organized in commemoration of World Tuberculosis Day 2022. Again, Shehu Muhammadeti tells us more.
World Tuberculosis Day is observed on March 24th every year to raise awareness on the devastating health, social, and economic consequences of TB and to step up efforts to end the global pandemic. Nigeria is to have recorded a 50% increase in tuberculosis notification from 138,591 cases in 2020 to 207,785 in 2021, while in Sokoto State, as at 2021, 18,366 cases of TB were reported. In commemoration of this year's World TB Day, health authorities in Sokoto come together to sensitize the public on the dangers of TB and how it is spread.
The whole issue about TB, whether diagnosis treatment is 100% free. Many of our people don't want probably to come to hospital because they thought they are going to spend money.
State government said a lot is being done to improve healthcare service delivery and by extension control TB.
We are also going to have X-ray machines in about 6 locations to improve identification and testing.
Wife of Sokoto State Governor Maria Aminu Waziri Tambol described tuberculosis as dreadful, hence the need for more concerted efforts toward ending tuberculosis.
The need for MTDI to strengthen the collaborative relationship between her foundation and the department responsible for tuberculosis issues in the state.
Other speakers stress the need for people to always use preventive measures against TB. The theme of World TB Day is Invest to End TB, Save Lives. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
You can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on YouTube channel NTA News Online. You can also visit our Twitter handle at NTA News Now, our Facebook page NTA Network News, and Instagram NTA Network for updates. And that's it from here. It's now back to Jimmy.
Thanks for joining us. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has refused to stop the federal government from deducting $480 million from the 36 states funds in the Federation account to pay debt owed consultants in the Paris Club refund. Presiding Judge Justice Inyang Eko, while dismissing the suit of the 36 states, hinged his decision on the grounds that the plaintiffs lacked the legal powers to institute the suit. The court also dismissed the suit as an abuse of court owing to the fact that the plaintiffs by their suit are seeking to get the court to review the judgment already entered against the 36 states. Justice Eko explained that the plaintiffs should have done was to have filed a suit to set aside the judgment. The United States and the European Commission are committed to reducing Europe's dependency on Russian energy as part of commitment to Europe's energy security. The two bodies also condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine and expressed solidarity and support for the country and welcome the integration of European and Ukraine energy. The United States and the European Union says it will continue to establish a joint task force on energy security to set out the parameters of the cooperation and execute its implementation. And before we go, the match between Nigeria and Ghana for the qualifying World Cup is ongoing and still goalless. For those watching on our terrestrial platform, don't forget to join us as NTA comes up thereafter. And that's it on Network News tonight. But before we go, don't forget to join us on the fight against rape and rapists. I am Juma Yusuf.